Christine. Oh my God.
Okay. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Ottumwa City Council meeting. Okay. If everybody would rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Cavanis.
Here.
Councilmember Reed.
Here.
Councilmember Galloway.
Here.
Councilmember Hoffman.
Here.
Councilmember McIntyre.
Here.
Mayor Johnson.
Here. The next item is to approve our consent agenda tonight, Part 1. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Cavanis.
Yes.
Councilmember Reed.
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway.
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman.
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre.
Yes.
The next item is to approve our consent agenda, Part 2. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Second.
Any further discussion? If not, Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Cavanis.
Yes.
Councilmember Reed.
No.
Councilmember Galloway.
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman.
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre.
Yes.
I
The
don't
next-
think Chris's mics are on.
Neither one.
It is odd.
Testing. Can you hear it?
Hello.
I'll just speak loud. She'll project.
The next item on our agenda is to approve tonight's agenda for the city council meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Second.
Any further discussion? If not, Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Cavanis.
Yes.
Councilmember Reed.
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway.
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman.
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre.
Yes.
Our next item is the city administrator's report to city council and citizens of Ottumwa. So I'll turn it over to Phil Rath, our city administrator.
All right. Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I said the one item on the agenda tonight, and that is to get get an annual report or update from Bridgeview Center, and they want to cover the fiscal year 25 annual report and maybe a couple of other things. And so we've got Executive Director of VenueWorks for the Bridgeview Center is Scott Holgren.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mary.
Hi, Mary. I don't need one. I've got one. I got one.
Thank you.
All right. Can you hear me? Okay. All right. Sorry. Thank you. Again, anyway, good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. It's a pleasure to be here. I always love talking about Bridgeview Center, but we are going to give you the highlights and the executive summary this evening. But we spent a lot of work in August and early September putting together our annual report. And some of our key statistics, we did not do a report like this last year, so I did include some numbers both out of fiscal year 24 and 25. You will see in fiscal year 24, we had just shy of 75,000 in attendance, 457 events, 678 use days. The key number is the annual economic impact, and this is our number 2 goal for Bridgeview Center, and that is 11.255 million back into our community from a wide array of spending from all the guests. When we calculate that number, we do actually take out a line item in our attendance called civic and community events, which are primarily events that draw local Ottumwans into Bridgeview Center. So that line item right there is removed, thus even give a little bit more accuracy to that number of more out-of-town guests coming into our facility. And then looking to this current fiscal year that we just closed on June 30th, we're at 11.121 million in economic impact, 78,000 or just shy of 79,000 in attendance, 374 events, 605 total use days. I also ran a statistic just last week that breaks out into an 84% occupancy rate. So 84% of fiscal year 25, we had some type of activity going on in Bridgeview Center. Load-in day, setup day, event day, whatever it might be. Somebody was using the building 84% of the time. You can see there, and also in your reports, it is broken down in a bar graph into the categories of events. I am going to skip ahead and get to some of the nuts and bolts, and I think one of the biggest key factors or numbers in the report. And that is here our financial overview. Certainly grateful for the support of both the city and Bridgeview Center, Inc. This is found on page, in your reports, it is page 29. The city put in $266,904 that came out of the city budget in fiscal year 25. So for every $1 that the city spent in fiscal year 25, you saw a return of $40.91. And I use a very conservative formula. It's an industry-proven formula that comes out of our professional membership organization. I think that's a great return on the investment for all citizens in the community of Ottumwa. Bridgeview Center, Inc., our governing board and partner with us, $190,000 investment into Bridgeview Center, and that comes off of their operational endowment fund that they own. And so we're certainly grateful for that. And combined, and then if below on the expense allocation, you can see some of the revenue highlights: $725,000 in tickets sold, food and beverage catering revenue of $765,000, sponsorship sold of about $65,000. Now, I would like a few key demographics and statistics I wanted to share. Total paid tickets sold, 17,784. We have market penetration into 94 of Iowa's 99 counties. There are 5 counties remaining way up in northwest Iowa that have not bought tickets. So that's our goal. That's my personal goal. Sometime in the next couple of years, we're going to try and get tickets sold in those 5 counties, and we'll have all 99 counties identified and ticket buyers at Bridgeview Center. Core markets: Des Moines, Cedar Rapids, Dubuque, the Quad Cities, obviously Ottumwa and our surrounding Southeast Iowa communities, but also dipping down into Kirksville, Hannibal, Quincy Market, Burlington, and areas east of Burlington. Some key demographics that we identify from our ticket buyers that helps us in how we best market our shows, as far as married and children in the household. And again, 60% of our ticket buyers are women. Women do tend to make a little bit more of the buying decisions when it comes to tickets. Marketing: to market all of our public ticketed shows and some of our even non-ticketed shows but public, we spent just shy of $134,000. We have just shy of 20,000 in our email database, and we sent out 202 emails in fiscal year 25. And here's a few of our email campaigns. But when you look at between the 202 emails sent to just shy of 20,000 in our database, we sent out over 2.22 million emails. We have a 27% open rate, and that is a 12.5% year-over-year increase in subscribers. And then there's just a few highlights of some of the public relations and advertising campaigns that we've done throughout the fiscal year. I did include for the detail, and I know the city also gets these monthly, our financial reports. Big picture, fiscal year 24, we did make budget. 25, obviously, as the council is aware of, we did come in 85,000 behind budget. We're certainly working this year to meet that. And obviously, in our current business climate, there were some tough business conditions. We certainly are grateful. We thank all of our partners that are with us in 2025. They're certainly a key help. And then one last slide here. I want to. Two areas there that Bridgeview Center is all about community. We've done a lot over the last 2 years to beautify our campus. We have a BVC beautification community that's done a lot of work. You've seen that work, hopefully yourselves, over the last couple of years. We're certainly grateful for all of it. Also, what's also important to us is how we can give back to our community. Friend there, Bruce Collin, you can see him collecting cans. He is there probably on average 2 to 3 days a week collecting all of our cans. And then after every large event, he comes in and helps pick up cans after those large events. Bruce collected 20,084 cans, and last year donated all the proceeds, $1,004.20, to Shriners Children's Hospital. And then we're also part of a program called Vet Ticks. And in fiscal year 25, Bridgeview Center, we gave away 265 complimentary tickets to 7 premier events, and all those tickets were valued at a price of $13,904.50. That's an average ticket price of $52.46 each. And we gave those all back to active and retired veterans, active duty and veterans of our armed forces, and also first responders. They're all eligible for that program. And again, it's all about one team, one family, one community. And that's just a highlight of some of our favorite events throughout fiscal year 25. Now, before I take just a few questions, I would like to just take a look ahead here at fiscal year 26. Looking ahead as of today, we are projecting to be behind budget by approximately $55,000. There are opportunities that we might be able to come in less than this. We're working on a few more shows, some other events that we have in the works, and we do believe this is a conservative estimate. Currently today, we are understaffed. We have 6 full-time positions today versus our typical and allotted 9 full-time positions. The answer lies in us looking ahead at the long game and hiring a full-time dedicated sales position for Bridgeview Center. Bridgeview Center, Inc., our governing board, has requested this. VenueWorks and myself, we've been advocating for this, and we support the position. The cost-benefit analysis proves it's a win. Adding a full-time sales manager results in long-term wins, but could increase our operating deficit for this current fiscal year by about $20,000. In total, the cost of the position is approximately $90,000 total, including the entire benefits package. The position does pay for itself. $10,000 plus will come from an estimated 15% growth in sponsorship and exhibitor booth sales, and $80,000 of it would come back in event sales and profits from booking those events. Our challenges right now and in fiscal year 25 and through today is a revenue problem. It's not an expense problem. We have trimmed, we have cut, and we've also really gained our efficiencies on the expense side. This is a way to drive revenue and focus on our largest challenge today. With that, I'd like to briefly introduce Laura Ottumwa, who can share a little bit about how she markets our community and how this position would work together with Ottumwa.
Good evening, Council, Mr. Mayor. As you know, one of the most important responsibilities that I have at Ottumwa, the Convention and Visitors Bureau for Ottumwa and Wapello County, is to bring in outside conferences, conventions, meetings, and sports tournaments. As Scott told you tonight, his staff and he are working with event planners here in the community. They are doing it with a short staff. I've been out in the community talking with event planners and groups as well. Right now, I am handling the majority of conferences, conventions, meetings, sports tournaments that are coming from outside of Wapello County. So starting conversations with organizers, showing them what Bridgeview Center has to offer, and trying to get them excited about coming to Southeast Iowa. This week, I'm wrapping up RFPs for 3 sporting events. 2 would be for tournaments, and 1 would be for an annual conference from all over the Midwest for 2 of them, and all over the country for the 3rd. And all of which Bridgeview Center would be the perfect location to have those, being centrally located here in the Midwest. The truth is, it's a lot to manage right now on top of everything else that I'm doing. And we're missing opportunities because there's no one at Bridgeview in a full-time capacity to follow up with these sales leads and make sure that every event organizer gets the attention that they need. That's why having a dedicated salesperson for Bridgeview Center right in the building is so important. Their responsibility would be to focus on the day-to-day work of turning these inquiries that we're coming up with into bookings. And that's where that revenue is going to come from. While I keep building relationships and bringing in new prospects. We just received a $6,000 Legacy Bright Ideas grant from Legacy Foundation to subscribe for a year to the Play Easy sports tournament platform, which is basically an RFP matchmaking service. I have put in all of our locations that will work for sporting events, from small to medium because of the number of hotels that we have here in Wapello County. And they match us with organizations that are looking for new venues to host tournaments. This is the absolute best gift from Legacy Foundation we could have received because we are handed these on a silver platter. Having somebody dedicated for sales in Bridgeview Center means that I can do the legwork at the beginning, and then I pass it off, and then Bridgeview Center does the rest. Right now, that's not feasible because they're doing multiple jobs as it is. I hope that this person would be able to continue to work directly with me in a partnership capacity that we can make these happen. This person can bring in more events, more visitors, and ultimately for all of us, overnight stays and economic impact. I hope that you'll support creating this position, not just for me personally and for me to Ottumwa, but for that revenue, that bottom line that we all want to see Bridgeview have. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Carol.
Laura.
Laura.
Laura Carroll.
Is this work?
That's okay. You can make a mistake now and then.
It's been a day over at the venue. Again, thank you, Laura. My apologies. So with that, certainly happy to entertain any questions. I really believe as you look back at fiscal year 25, what we're trying to do as we go forward is we are meeting our top two goals. Our number one goal always has been quality of life. And I think as you look through the report, you see the pictures, you read the stories, we are achieving our quality of life goal. Number two has always been about serving as that economic engine and driver for the community of Ottumwa. And I believe that our numbers show over the last 2 fiscal years and even prior to that, that we're also meeting our number 2 goal of being an economic engine for our community. That's why Bridgeview Center was built. That was the vision for it. And we've been doing that for 19 years, or we'll be 19 years old on January 1st. So with that, happy to answer any questions that the council, the mayor, or anyone might have.
I guess, Scott, I don't have a question, but I'd like to make one comment, and I'm glad they're here tonight. When you talk in your report about giving back to the community, I would like to, even though it was done at the unveiling of the Flying Eagle sculpture, I'd like to also take a moment tonight to recognize Dr. Ted Haas, his wife Diane Haas, and Connie Ferguson for their countless hours all summer long working with that whole Flying Eagle project and working with Steve Huffman. It's been a huge improvement to Bridgeview Center campus. It's going to be a big attraction when people come down Church Street, and I think it looks amazing, and I just want to publicly recognize them for all their hard work.
That's right.
Does council have any questions or comments for Scott?
I do. I just want to clarify something. So when you're talking about adding this position, it's not that the council needs to actually approve it, but you're looking for the support of the council, correct?
That is correct. We certainly would like to have the support of the council, knowing that for fiscal year 26, it's going to add approximately $20,000 to our budget to cover that cost. You know, this position is the long game.
Yes.
We are not going to see, we will see some short-term results in some sponsorship sales, selling of exhibitors, but the big wins coming in on the events, the multi-day events, you're really going to see after a year, 18 months down the road and 2 years down the road. Now, obviously, hopefully we're going to see some success of booking those and have them booked and on the calendar. Now, that's also how we will, track and certainly review the performance of the person in this position. But when those actually events play out and actually generate the dollars back to Bridgeview Center, back to our financials, that's going to be the long game, and that will be down the road.
Okay. Yeah. And I think that's important to clarify again that this isn't an immediate, we see the results. It's going to be a 2 to 3 year, or sorry, 1 to 2 year before 1 to 2 years before we start to see that. And that's again, because most of these things are booking like conferences. They're not booking for next year. They're looking to book 2 years out. So I just think it's really important to understand that while, like Scott said, we're going to see some smaller results, it's going to be in the bookings that we see in the next year or two before that position really shows the potential.
Yeah, I just say Scott had come and talked to Finance Director O'Donnell and myself about this and the concerns that looking at least initially, like you said, it's not going to have the immediate reward that there could be the risk of overrunning the budget. And so thought it would be a good idea for you all to be aware that as we get to the end of that budget, if there is an overrun, that part of that is for this reason. And looking ahead, that I think it was an 18 to 24 month payback is what was looked at, maybe sooner. I mean, if there's a lot of success early on, it could be much sooner than that. But yes, like you said, some of those are the long-term events. Some of it is just renting out the space, doing more with event space in the expo hall, weddings, quinceañeras, whatever it might be, meetings, those kinds of things as well. So helping to get that sales and marketing for those things as well as the bigger events, as Scott and Laura had mentioned.
And I think, again, it goes to say, too, it's that, when we talk about, changes, we have to talk about we need to bring in more revenue. The city needs to bring in more revenue. Bridgeview needs to bring more revenue in. And it's kind of a chicken and the egg. Do you look at your expenses and cut your expenses hoping to bring more revenue in? Or do you spend a little bit more to bring someone in that's going to focus solely on bringing that revenue in? And I do believe this position is important.
I have a personal experience through the Friends of NRA. We just recently had our banquet, I think in October. And I will tell you that the service that was presented and the food that was presented was fabulous. And I mean fabulous.
Thank you.
My second comment is you can't get anyone better than Mary Simmons at that front counter. She's a hot dog.
Mary is our rock at Bridgeview Center. So
She is.
yes. But thank you, Mr. Councilman.
Scott forgot to tell you that he's had Mary sign a lifetime contract. Any other comments or questions from council?
I just see Bridgeview as, the quality of life thing, like you mentioned, and the economic impact, what it brings in is very hard to actually know, but, that's what it's there for, and I believe it's doing the job. And so I appreciate all the efforts, and I'm very proud of that building and all that goes on there. When you drive by, it's beautiful, and especially with the landscaping that's been done and the work. But I believe it's bringing in money, probably more than we know.
I don't know. The only comment I'll just make it short is
Speak into your microphone.
it's I don't know. I'm a supporter of the Bridgeview Center, so I love it, and I think we do great things. I do, when I look at things like that, when you look at a position like that, you might see an expense, and I understand we have to be good stewards and financially, but when you look through a position, when it can bring, 10 times what we're paying or bring 100, it's going to be continual improvement of shows. It will make it more efficient. Then, yeah, I'm a supporter, and I agree as well. The Bridgeview is beautiful. I believe it brings in a lot of people. And like I've always told Scott and publicly, we have a lot of shows here, a lot of good quality shows that you couldn't afford at a bigger venue in a bigger town. So we're pretty fortunate. So.
Comments from
Yeah, I just
council?
have one more comment. The holiday shows coming up in Bridgeview. I think one's in like 3 weeks, right?
Mhm.
So I recommend, and there's some good stuff. So go get your tickets.
Cirque Musica on Wednesday, November 19th. And I will just share this briefly, but Cirque Musica They arrive next Wednesday, November 12th, and they will be with us using the Bridgeview Center Theater and the entire wing of the Bridgeview Center Theater all the way through Sunday, November 23rd, and potentially Monday, the 24th. They might stay over one extra day. And we have Tour A arrives on November 12th, and then Tours A Performance is on November 19th that our Ottumwa community will be the first in the world to see. It's the world premiere. And then they take off in a bus that night, and they're going to be up actually in Mason City for their first show on the 20th. But then that's when Tour B then will start rehearsing. Exact same setup. It's just a whole new set of props, a whole new cast and crew. And then Tour B rehearses from November 20th through the 23rd, might stay over that extra day to the 24th. And then they'll go out on the road, and then they'll take Tour B and then head out across the U.S. all the way through December 31st.
And it's a must-see show. My daughter and I went 2 years ago when they were here again. And I mean, my anxiety was like, I thought they were going to hit the floor half the time, but it was phenomenal. I recommend it. So
One more thing I'll add, then I'll get off of it. I just want to say, Mr. Mayor, when we had our meetings at Bridgeview, we had water and cookies.
You are welcome to bring those anytime.
I'd like
It's
to make
not
a
in the
comment.
budget.
I agree with everybody on the council, Scott, but like you guys have to run your budget and your business, but we have to do the same thing. So I'm speaking on behalf of every department that's been understaffed for a number of years too. And they always get the short end of the stick, so I'm all for supporting you guys if that's going to help. But moving forward, if we add that other position and the numbers don't change more positively, we're still stuck as a council, because the council that was on when they voted it in, we have to bail you guys out. And some of the departments may not know that, but I feel sorry for the other departments because they was told to go back 3 different times during the contract, say, you got to cut more, you got to cut more. So it's going to be a negative feedback, but I'm telling you, heads up. The reason why, it's because they're still getting the short end of the stick. So our job as council is to look out for everybody, not 1 or 2 different departments. But I'm on board with you guys.
No, thank you, Doug. And I appreciate it. And that's why we're here tonight. I mean, we want to be transparent. If we move forward and when we hire this salesman position, we're still going to be down 2 people. So we're still going to be running lean. But for us, it's trying to figure out what's the best way, the best path forward to get to 0 and to make that budget. And we believe there it's growing revenue, because I don't know where else we can cut without drastically cutting services. And I don't think, whether it's the council, the city, Meet Ottumwa, our board, our customers, our clients, all the guests we serve don't want to see that. So
I think you and your board do a fabulous job, and I'm amazed at how well you can do with what you have to work with.
thank you.
If there's no other comments from council, we did have one individual that wanted to come up and speak about Bridgeview Center. So I'm going to have him come up now before we get further into the conversation or the agenda. So Tom, do you want to come up and speak on this? Because you had filled out a sheet that you wanted to talk about Bridgeview.
Good evening, and thank you, Mayor. This is a special day, as you know, because of the election. So I want to, first of all, thank you, elected officials who've run in the past and are continuing to run. Hope we have a good turnout and we'll have some results shortly. So we're talking about Bridgeview. So what is Bridgeview? It's a building, it's a community center, but it's more of an economic generator for our community. Where else can you, as a city administration, invest $1 of city money and generate $41 in return? I've talked with several business people over the last year who shared that their best business days are tied to Bridgeview performances. Your investment has helped to bring in $11 million into our community, spent on food, gas, lodging, and general shopping. I've heard many people ask why we don't support why do we support Venue Works? They're a private organization. Well, I think it's a great example of a public-private partnership, because entertainment business is a very specialized area, and you need to have people who are well-trained and knowledgeable, and Venue Works brings that to the table. Most people don't know that Venue Works operates in 25 different states and has 55 different venues. So they have a lot of experience and they can network and communicate with different organizations. And so having somebody with that kind of expertise really helps us. I think Bridgeview is one of the city's diamonds. It's a beautiful building that we've done everything from hosting the Texas Tenors, you saw in the report earlier, to hosting a local cow-calf conference, not to mention the Bull Riders of America and Sesame Street rehearsals. As a city asset, it's your responsibility, however, to keep the structure in good repair and keep up with modern technology. Thank you for voting for the replacement of the roof, which I've seen people working there today, and it looks like they're getting a good start on it, and that will help prevent some problems in the future. I'm always pleased to hear people come in and say what a beautiful and functional building Bridgeview is, and especially for a community our size. We have a good staff who work very hard. I think you've met some of them tonight. Great response to the programs that they bring into Ottumwa. It gives us the opportunity for culture, music, and arts. Brings in people from all over the country, and I'm amazed how many people have come here and said, I didn't know Ottumwa had a facility like this. I would encourage the council to continue to work with Scott and his staff and to have more regular contact in terms of contact with the Bridgeview board. I think there are some really dedicated people on that board who give a lot of time and energy and really want the best for our community. So again, you can invite them to come instead of just an annual report, and I'm sure all of you have read the 34 pages and seen all the pictures and explanations, but it's really good to have some regular conversation so when something does come up, you've got some background for that. I'd also second the comment about we have some outstanding volunteers in this community. 3 of them sitting behind me on the beautification committee have done a great job, and we were there for the unveiling of the Flying Eagle. And I think, again, it's just a sample of how people are committed to Bridgeview, and we are fortunate to have that kind of help and commitment from local citizens. So anything you can do to encourage that is great. I think Bridgeview has met its goals, and certainly there will continue to be issues coming up. I was talking to Scott the other day. The next thing will be we'll probably have to have. Does that mean 3 minutes are up? We'll probably have a need for carpet replacement shortly, but I think overall, when you consider 19 years of wear and tear in a building, it's in good shape, and we want to keep it that way and make it even better. So thank you for the opportunity to visit with you, and I think anything you can do to both appreciate the venue by going to the activities there, but taking a personal interest in finding out from the staff that they really work very hard, and it's a very demanding profession that comes on evenings and weekends when we want to be home with our families. So thank you, and I hope you'll continue to support Bridgeview in the future.
Thank you, Tom.
Mayor, I'd like to add one more comment I forgot before, and I apologize for this. You know, I think one resource we have we don't realize, and I should have stated this before, is Scott has a passion for his job like no one I've seen. I mean, he isn't phoning it in. He lives, sleeps, eats, and breathes the Bridgeview Center, and every conversation I've ever had, I can tell he cares about the community and what's going on. So, Scott, I did want to publicly thank you for that. So.
Phil, do you have anything else?
No, just thank you to Laura and Scott for their comments. And that's all I had for this evening.
Okay, thank you. We have no, well, let me see. I'm getting ahead of myself. The next item is where I ask if anybody in the audience would like to speak on any agenda items tonight. Okay. We don't have any public hearings tonight, so we'll move on to ordinances. We do have one ordinance to address tonight.
Ordinance number 3250, 2025, amending the municipal code of the city of Ottumwa, Iowa by amending various sections of chapter 23, motor vehicles and traffic for the purpose of updating parking and traffic regulations within the city of Ottumwa. Recommendation pass the third consideration and adopt ordinance number 3250, 2025.
Is there a motion to approve the recommendation?
Move to approve. Second.
Okay, and I believe our Public Works Director, Philip Bergmeyer, is going to address this item.
All right, thank you, Mayor. So again, this ordinance changes and updates parking regulations downtown and around the Ottumwa High School. The changes around the high school were requested by the school district to improve parking and traffic circulation. And the downtown changes were initiated by businesses and or their customers. Staff have reviewed these changes and support the updated regulations.
Council have any questions for Philip?
I know this is a third reading on this, but assuming these pass, then we just need to keep an eye on it and make sure that the changes we made are really going to be helpful. I suppose I'm sure you guys are thinking of that.
Yep.
When I went to school at high school, we didn't have that many cars to park any place in the world. So now you got one car for every student going, I think.
Any other comments or questions from council? If not, Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Cavaness?
Yes.
Councilmember Reed?
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
The next item on tonight's agenda is departmental, board, or commission recommendations and reports. And I believe we have 3.
Approve the delay in application of sewer-based fee on multifamily and mobile home units. Recommendation pass the motion to delay the imposition of sewer-based fees on each unit within a multifamily dwelling and each mobile home lot of a mobile home park until July 1st, 2026.
Is there a motion to approve the recommendation?
Move to approve.
Second.
And I believe our finance director, Cole O'Donnell, is going to handle this.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. At its April 1st, 2025 meeting, the City Council passed and adopted Ordinance 3243-2025, setting sewer fees. Language in the ordinance modified the base fee for multifamily dwellings and mobile home parks by imposing a base fee for each unit or lot in the dwelling, or lot in a park. At the same meeting, City Council passed a motion delaying the modified language for multifamily dwellings for mobile home parks until January 1, 2026. In the interim, an engineering firm has been engaged to conduct a study on the city's sewer fees and rate structure. The council now desires to delay the implementation of that modifies base charges in order to consider any recommendations from the rate study. The motion would delay the implementation until July 1, 2026, unless further modifications to the rates and rate structures are approved and adopted by the City Council.
Does council have any questions for Cole?
My only comment is we may, as a council, want to go back and review that entire process again before it goes into activity.
And that's part of it, because we have the rate study coming, and once the rate study, we'll schedule a work session and then work through any recommendations and any changes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was just going to say too, I think it makes sense to have both of those conversations together, because I think a lot of it I think there will be some overlap, and it makes sense to do that together so that there's understanding on both the rate study and then also those base rates that we talked about too.
Any other comments from council? If not, Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Cavaness?
Yes.
Councilmember Reed?
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre?
Yes.
Approve grant application to the Bureau of Justice Assistance to participate in the 2025 Bulletproof Vest Partnership Program and authorize the mayor or chief of police to sign any related documents as may be required. Recommendation: approve the submission of the grant application and authorize the mayor or chief of police to sign any related documents as required.
Is there a motion to approve the recommendation?
Approve.
Second.
Okay, I believe our police chief, Chad Farrington, is going to address this item.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. The bulletproof vests that we currently supply our police officers last approximately 5 years. The Bureau of Justice Assistance has established the Bulletproof Vest Partnership Program in order to assist law enforcement agencies with purchasing those vests for our officers. The program will reimburse up to 50% of the cost of the vests after they have been purchased. The application will request approximately 8 vests for the amount of $11,200 with a reimbursement of $5,600. This application has to be submitted online by 6 p.m. Friday, December 19th of this year.
And this is something that you've done for several years now, correct?
Yes.
Does council have any questions for Police Chief Farrington?
Do they improve these vests every time we re-up?
The NIJ standards, they'll change it. The vests are comprised of what they call a level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. That's the Kevlar weave in the vest, and that determines what type of round, if you will, or bullet it will stop. All these vests will be based off of the NIJ standards that they're putting forth for American law enforcement. So yes, the idea is they are much more flexible and a little bit easier to wear than vests of the past.
What is done with the old ones? What happens with them? The old vests?
They're decommissioned and destroyed.
Destroyed.
The idea behind that is those vests can no longer be warrantied. A lot of it has to do with when these vests are up close and personal, if you will, to the officer's body. Perspiration, sweat is what actually breaks down that Kevlar fiber. And the companies will no longer warranty those vests to stop said round or multiple rounds if shot. So we're unable to use those after 5 years.
Any other questions or comments from council? If not, Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Cavaness,
Yes.
Councilmember Reed,
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway.
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman,
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Purchase of a Husqvarna FS 4600G concrete saw from Carroll Construction Supply for the Streets Department. Recommendation: approve the purchase of a Husqvarna FS 4600G concrete saw from Carroll Construction Supply in the amount of $38,412 for the Streets Department.
Is there a motion to approve the recommendation?
Move the recommendation.
Second.
Okay, our Public Works Director, Philip Bergmeyer, is going to also handle this.
Thank you, Mayor. So the Public Works Department solicited bids from received quotes from 3 suppliers, with Carroll Construction Supply of Ottumwa being the lowest after using the local preference of 5%. This saw was budgeted through both through both road use and the sewer fund in the amount of $27,500. But as we looked at saws to purchase and spoke to some contractors and did some research, we thought that a higher horsepower saw with a heavier frame and a gear drive instead of a belt drive would be more productive, more reliable, and last longer. So with the modified saw we bought, the low bid exceeded the total budget by $10,912. However, we purchased a trailer through the road use fund that was under budget by $3,500, and our sewer inspection equipment was under budget by $12,000. So even though the split will no longer be 50-50 between the sewer and street fund, with those pieces of equipment running under budget, we ended up having money in those funds to purchase it. The split ended up being $17,250 from road use and $21,162 from the sewer fund. And this saw will replace 2 existing saws. So right now, sewer and streets have their own saws, each have their own saws. And we decided to sell both those old saws and just purchase one saw they can share. And so we also asked that the 2 saws that we have right now will be sold through a government auction, govdeals.com.
Just for interest, what will they bring about maybe at auction?
I have no idea what a used concrete saw will bring. And honestly, like some stuff we think will bring 500 will bring 2,000, and some stuff we think will bring 2,000 will bring 100. So,
So it's just
hard to
whatever
tell.
somebody bids.
Here's
Yeah.
the
There is
on
to
it.
Yeah, we don't put a reserve price on it usually. It's just whatever it sells for.
All right, thank you.
Any other comments or questions for Philip? Your department has a lot of expensive equipment, but I understand it's necessary.
Yeah.
You do good work.
Thanks.
Okay, if no other comments or questions, Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Cavaness,
Yes.
Councilmember Reed,
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway,
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman,
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre.
Yes.
The next item on the agenda is resolutions, and we have 2 of those tonight.
Resolution number 192, 2025, approving revised downtown revitalization grant procedures as presented, including evaluation criteria, form of agreement, and disbursement form, and authorize staff to implement the updated process for all future grant applications. Recommendation: pass and adopt resolution number 192, 2025.
Is there a motion to approve the recommendation?
Move to approve.
Second.
And I believe our Community Development Director, Amal Eltaher, is going to handle this.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, everyone. Basically, I'm going to give you an overview of what this change is, and starting with why we're updating our policy. The Community Development Department is currently working on aligning day-to-day business with our vision and values. Vision as in our adopted plans, and values are core organizational values, especially continuous improvement and communication. Staff would also like to make sure we're maximizing the impact of public funds as far as grants programs, and also want to make sure we're following best practice in the form of having clear evaluation criteria for those programs, documentation, and making sure we're setting to do program evaluations in the long run to make sure those programs are meeting objectives. Also, everything in here is to make sure we're aligning what we do on a daily basis with our vision and values. Under your consideration here tonight is the criteria for evaluating grant applications, and our standard agreement form and a standard form for reimbursement. This is just to make sure we're better documenting details and make sure the information are easier to retrieve later for verification and for program evaluation. And for you also is the approval of the overall process. So applications are going to be evaluated based on 6 weighted criteria. Those are making sure the project is aligned with the purpose of the program, and how consistent is that with our adopted plans as far as strategic plan, long range, and downtown vision, strategic plan, and Main Street goals. Will be also evaluated based on financial soundness, making sure the applicant is ready to go as far as securing funding and the equity they have in the project, and project readiness or feasibility, just looking at their project management, whether they got their plans in line, they're assessing their capacity for managing the project in a feasible way, meeting the timeline. And also they'll be assessed based on their economic impact or community impact. Basically, this is related to job growth and business growth. And also considering the building characteristics as far as historic designation, historic nature of the building, how significant is the character of the building to the downtown. So as you can see, those are given 20%, both the economic impact and building characteristic will make the last 20%. So driven from this criteria is the rubric that the committee will be using to score those applications. There's guidance for that. Would be if a project scores between 85 to 100% will be strongly recommended for funding. 70 to 84 would be recommended if enough funds are available. 55 to 69 consider with conditions. If conditions apply, that means the city can put on the application conditions. Any project scoring 55 or below will not be recommended for funding. What happens if we get two projects scoring the same tiebreaker, considering whether the project is going to help activate a vacant building or expanding a business, preserve a historic structure? Priority is going to be given to projects that provide the greatest return in terms of increase in taxable value. The standard form of agreement is very basic. We're just recommending adding provisions for recapture or repayment in case of non-compliance. This is the reimbursement form, would be part of the agreement as an exhibit. We're just making sure there is certification as far as the accuracy of the information. We know we look at the checklist, all the items that are required to make sure they're in compliance, but also adding verification by staff, just to including the resolution, council resolution number that approved the grant application, just to make sure this is just easier to track and later retrieve and verify. Overall, we're documenting the process, especially the decision making. So the process would look like application received, committee will review, make recommendation, final approval would be presented to council. In summary for you, those proposed revisions would better communicate our standards, define what compliance is, document our process, and strengthen control by adding a step, a council approval, and also to make sure we're consistent, because this is a CIP project, making sure in line with the rest of the CIP that it goes back to council for approval. Overall action taken tonight would help staff align efforts with vision, priorities, and best practice. I'll take any question if you guys have.
Amal, if I understand this correctly, all these programs would be a reimbursement type program. The person has to upfront the cost and do the work, show that it's been completed, and then they apply for reimbursement, but there's no guarantee necessarily they're going to get it if they don't meet all these criteria. Is that correct?
Yes. Criteria to review, so we make a decision whether they're eligible. But that agreement will specify the maximum grant, but it's going to be on a reimbursement basis when they provide the invoices and proof that they spent and met all the guidelines.
I personally think it's good that these changes are being made, because I don't always think all these grant applications were brought before the council in the past. And since it's spending money, I do think that even though you have a review committee that's going to make recommendations, I really like the idea that it's going to have to go in front of the council for final approval, since it's spending city tax dollars. Does anybody else have any comments or questions for Amal?
I just have one. So I know you worked with some community partners to kind of go over this. Can you just tell us which community partners you worked with?
Included, so those weights are put together based on consultation with partner organizations. Those are Main Street, representative from Main Street, and from GoPip and Rippling Waters.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions from council? Okay, if not, Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Cavaness,
Yes.
Councilmember Reed,
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway,
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman,
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre.
Yes.
Thank you, Amal.
Resolution number 194, 2025, awarding the contract and approving the contract insurance and bond for the 2025 RFP number 7, repair City Hall roof tiles project. Recommendation pass and adopt resolution number 194, 2025.
Is there a motion to approve the recommendation?
So moved. Second.
I believe our Public Works Director, Philip Bergmeyer, is going to also handle this.
All right, thank you, Mayor. So when you come to City Hall and you look up just below the rain gutters, there's a short section of clay tile roof that's left on City Hall. This was damaged from hail a while back. And so we brought the insurance company out, the adjuster, and that's what started this project to replace that tile. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the old tile off, take the furring strips off and the old underlayment off, inspect the roof deck, and then put a new fully adhered underlayment on there, new redwood furring strips, and then we're going to replace all the clay tiles we can onto there. We have a stockpile of clay tiles too that are in the attic that we're going to try to use as much as we can. And if we have to, we'll have to maybe sprinkle in some new tiles in there. But this project is fully funded through the insurance company. It's not any extra budget item here. And it's just to hopefully if there was any damage to the underlayment where water is getting in the building, it'll stop that. But like I said, it's just from hail damage and it's covered under insurance. So we sent this out to 3 different companies: Pro Commercial, Blackhawk Roofing, and TK Roofing. We only received 1 bid back. It was opened on October 14th. It was from Pro Commercial LLC in the amount of $97,696. And this was lower than the quotes the insurance company got, which their lowest quote was $101,650. So we feel comfortable going with this, even though it's only a single bid.
Does council have any questions, comments for Philip?
Since you're probably going to have to buy some new tiles, are they going to match good? Are you sure that?
We have a stand. So these tiles were original from the building. So they're 113 years old. We're crossing our fingers that we can find enough. We have enough spare tiles in the attic that we can reuse them. I did hear that they were having a lot of trouble finding it. I mean, there's stamps on them, so you can see the exact mold and the exact company that used them, but it's 113 years ago. So they're having trouble finding a company with that same mold. So hopefully there's enough there if they can track down replacement tiles. If not, I think the backup plan is to find the least visible portion of the roof and try to replace the tiles in that portion with the non-matching ones. So we'll see. Hopefully it all works out.
They also make those new composite tiles for roofs too that aren't clay. So if you don't have enough of the clay tile, you could probably get some of the new non-clay tiles in that green color.
Yeah,
I'm sure you could probably get something that would match pretty well.
Yeah, we'll wait and see what the roofers can track down, but it was in the bid that they might have to replace some tiles. So they knew they needed to find somewhere to do this. So
any other questions for Philip?
I don't understand why they don't match what they're only 113 years old. Good Lord.
Yeah. Well, I don't understand why the whole roof's not so clay tile. I mean, if you have a roofing system that lasts that long, you wonder why you'd replace it with an asphalt shingle that lasts 20 years. So, but.
Okay, if there's no other questions, Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Cavaness.
Yes.
Councilmember Reed.
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway.
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman.
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre.
Yes.
Thank you, Philip. The next item is our public forum. We're asked if anybody would like to speak on any non-agenda items this evening. Okay. Moving along, the next item is Mayor City Council report and or communications. The only thing, and Phil kind of alluded to this earlier, just encourage people that haven't got out to vote yet. You still have till 8 o'clock tonight to get to the polls to exercise your right to vote. It's really important that we get as many people out to vote as we can. Does any of the council have any communications or announcements that they'd like to make about anything?
Yeah, I just want to shout out our skate park that opened officially Saturday. I hear that it's been getting use, and there's already been some injuries. So people are really loving it out there.
It is a fantastic skateboard park.
All Wheels Park, I'm sorry.
Yes. You can
All Wheels Park. I
Bikes and
apologize.
scooters as well.
Yeah. Anybody else have any announcements or comments they'd like to make? Okay, if not, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn tonight's city council meeting.
So moved. Second.
Chris will take the roll.
Councilmember Cavaness,
Yes.
Councilmember Reed,
Yes.
Councilmember Galloway,
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman,
Yes.
Councilmember McIntyre.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody, for coming to tonight's city council meeting, and safe travels home. Thank you.